Welcome in, everybody, to the Understable Minds studios for episode 34 of Understable Minds. My name is Anthony. This week, I'll be joined by Eric McCabe.
What's up?
We do not have AJ Risley with us today. We do have, behind the curtain, behind the glass, the one and only Danny Lindahl is still going to be running the show for us, doing all the stuff that makes us look and sound as good as we can.
As good as we can.
It's a lot of work to get us to where we're at, but he's willing to put in the time and effort to do that, and we appreciate that,
Yeah,
Danny.
absolutely.
We appreciate that. We know it is quite the undertaking to try and make us look and sound presentable.
Presentable, that is key.
Right,
that is
right.
Key.
So before we get into the show, kind of to kick things off, we do have some unfortunate news, I guess we'll call it. Some maybe not exciting news. I don't know the correct term for it. But as people can tell by the title of this episode, this is going to be we have some upbeat music as well to kind of go along with this so that it's not
it balances everything out.
Right. Yeah. The news isn't great, but the music,
it's great.
The music's pretty cool. We're kind of calling this the season 1 finale of Understable Minds. So it won't be the end of the show. It will just be kind of like when your favorite TV show goes off the air so they can film season 2.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
So will there be reruns? All that? You can just go to our YouTube page and watch reruns.
Click, shuffle on the playlist, and you can check out episode, 16. 4 would be a good one to go check out.
Great episode.
Any of the first, the 34 episodes that are available, highly recommended by the two of us. We have a lot of stuff to do preparing for the World Championships coming up at the end of next month. So that's going to be a big part of Danny and I's role. And so we won't have quite as much time to reproduce the show and come up with different topics and different things like that. And so rather than putting out a subpar product and a show that we're not happy with, we decided that we're going to take a little bit of a break, at least through the World Championships. And then for me personally, I've been kind of given a different role, working more closely with the team and our team managers, kind of helping bridge the communication between them and the media department. And so that as well has been taking up a larger portion of my time. And so the podcast, just rather than putting out, like I said, something we're not happy with, something we're not proud of, we decided we're going to take a little bit of a break. So don't know if it will be season 2 airing after Worlds. It might be the end of the year. It might be the beginning of next year. We don't have a set confirmed, perfectly set in stone, written in pen. That's how
it's in pencil.
It's right. It's in pencil on paper right now.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for the stone proof pen. The pen you can write in stone. That's what we're waiting for to officially have a new season 2 start date. But we will be there.
We'll be back.
Not gone forever. The show might look the same. It might look different. It might sound the same. It might sound different. Yeah. We don't know yet. We are going to be assessing that stuff. Like I said, probably post Worlds. Once we get through that, we'll be reevaluating. And like I said, might be the same show, might be a different show, but there will be a show.
There will be.
And it will be awesome. It's going to be very cool. So, should we get into the actual show? That was an awesome show.
I think we probably should.
In the right ways, the European Open was very subpar. As in below
par
in terms of scorecards.
Okay.
Most notably for 2 players.
For 2. That's it.
Yeah. So, those 2 players were the mix. the Mick twins.
The mix. That's right.
Paul and Eagle just absolutely decimated the field. It was, I think we did the math, and it was 17 strokes from first place to third place.
Yep.
Which is,
think about that,
bananas.
And it's and not to mention Eagle's performance. Like Paul's expected, right? Let's be honest. Paul is expected to go there and perform. He's won the last 5 in a row, I think it was, since 2011 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like he'd been there 5. Every time he had been there,
he had won.
He won. Yeah,
won the major.
It was 5. Yeah,
I think it was 5 in a row. And Eagle, obviously, this is his first tournament back since walking off the course in Jonesboro. So, to me, 2 things could happen there. Either he's going to come in and just be rusty and not be able to perform, or he's going to prove that he's been busting his hump all off season and just come in and perform because he's a scary man because there's no expectations there.
Right. And that was what, so we were talking earlier about people wanting to go back and listen to episode 33.
Oh yeah.
You and AJ were talking about Eagles coming in with no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
The game is simplified for him because he doesn't have to think about, do I throw turnover? Do I throw sidearm? Do I throw sidearm hyzer? He threw 0 sidearms. And I think
0.
I think it was you even said, like, that's a scary player. Somebody that's coming in. They've had this one circled as this is when I'm going to come back. The game is simplified for him. He doesn't have anything else to think about.
Right.
And there's no expectations. Everybody is expecting him to not be Eagle.
Yeah. And
then he comes out and shoots 42 under, where Kevin Jones shoots 25 under and is on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Eagle went 51-51 round 1 and round 2.
That's 12-12.
Yeah, which is also the course record.
Oh, yeah.
So dude takes a couple months off, throws a lefty backhand. He's right-handed, folks.
He is.
And, I'll just shoot a course record.
On a 380-foot hole.
In a major. In front of probably the largest gallery of the year.
Probably. That's not, I wouldn't say this year either.
You think ever?
I think all time.
Really?
Terry Miller was quoted to say that this gallery was 2, if not 3 times the size of Worlds last year.
Whoa.
Yes. That
really?
many people were there in person watching.
I didn't hear that.
That's insane.
Did anybody give a number?
No, UC was talking, he thought between 5 to 7, maybe 8,000 people are expected to be out there. And that's families from Finland. I mean, and here's the thing, it was free.
Right.
It was free for people to come out and watch, which I think is fantastic. Great for having those huge galleries out there. I mean, it was insane watching that coverage and seeing the drone shots of the galleries. I mean, I was blown away by it. Mm-hmm. I was absolutely blown away.
Yeah. And I feel like there's always a good sized gallery at the European Open. It seems like
every year, like I said, I think on last episode, that the European Open is ahead of their time. Mm-hmm. They've always been ahead of their time.
Yeah.
They've always been that setting the precedent, so to speak. Like they've always treated that event like it was a professional event, like a true, like we've made it. When we go to Europe, we're like, dang, we get treated like professionals.
Right. This is it.
This is it.
This is the peak. Yeah.
So.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
2 to 3 times. That's insane.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
A ton of people. Hopefully we can have something similar to that in
about a month
here in Worlds for or here in Emporia for Worlds.
Yeah. We have 28,000 people in Emporia.
Right.
Like we just pay everybody $1. That's $28,000.
Do I get $1?
Sure.
Cool. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Appreciate
come on out.
it.
Let's go.
Does he hand deliver it to each house?
Each person.
Hey, how many people live here? 6? Okay. $6.
$6.
Do you guys have change for a 10, by the way?
Oh, that'd be great.
So, Eric, what were your thoughts on one of the main stories was Chandler Kramer?
Yes.
Having a breakout performance, which was incredible, and we'll get to him in a minute. But there was another story. The big story in terms of score was that Paul and Eagle were halfway through round 2. It was
over.
One of these two is winning the event, right? What were your thoughts on that? Does that make it more interesting for you as a viewer? Does it make it less interesting?
I think it makes it more interesting in the fact that there was 2 players battling it out for first. And then there's still a battle for third. There's a battle for that third podium spot between 5 or 6 different players. Mm-hmm. So you had kind of 2 stories to follow.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more boring if one player, like say if Eagle didn't go to this event and it was just Paul that was that far ahead of people, then it's like, I may not even watch.
And I wonder too, how much, like say Eagle didn't go there and Paul finished 41 under. Mm-hmm. If Eagle's not there, does Paul finish 35?
Or does he finish 50 something because there's absolutely no fear on running that 80-foot putt downhill with death behind it. You know, I mean, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say.
Super interesting.
One thing that was kind of disappointing for me, and this is just me being a fan of disc golf and watching disc golf, was the fact that the FPOs teed off at 2:00 in the morning.
Yes.
Because I didn't I had to wake up every single morning to see the scores. And I would wake up and check scores, but there was a heck of a battle going off in FPO as well. So
yeah, the spectating aspect was cool because you could wake up and there was coverage on.
Mm-hmm.
But the unfortunate part was that you wake up and you've already missed the entire FPO
field.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it felt weird too after the men were done. They were done at like 10:30 in the morning or something like that. And I remember watching and then thinking, all right, I got more coverage this afternoon.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
It's over.
I wonder if they considered doing like a rebroadcast.
Like a replay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That would have been smart. I think they did do that actually. It just wasn't live. So I think you could go back and watch the FPOs live. Like I think Denise and I did that. Went back and watched like round 2 or maybe it was round 1. Like Saturday evening or something like that.
Yeah. Cause I don't know the way the ins and outs of the way that the Pro Tour works it, but I know when the round is over, it's usually hidden for a certain number of hours so that you can't go back and rewatch it.
And I don't know if that's because they're editing things or I don't know.
Yeah, I would think it has to
maybe they have to upload it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it is or why that is, but I think it's usually like, I know it's typically if you watch, if a round happens on Friday and you want to rewatch it, you can rewatch the Disc Golf Network broadcast on Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact time frame, if it's 12 hours or if it is a full 24.
And I guess most people probably don't know because they're usually watching post-produced if they want to go back and watch it.
At that point, the Jomez round, Gatekeeper.
And there is no post-produced for this, correct? You have to go back and watch this live. Is that what I'm understanding? Or are they putting it out later?
I think that's what's happening because I think I saw somewhere that like Nate Doss and Terry Miller were doing post-produced commentary or something like that.
It'd be a shame not to put that out. For people to be able to just go back and watch a condensed version of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So the big news, the unfortunate news was I don't even know what to call it. The Nico situation, the rules infringement. Obviously everyone is aware of what happened. There's been videos and memes and pictures and tweets and everybody's given their 2 cents.
Yeah,
right.
Everybody is an expert on the topic.
Right. Yeah. And, it was really unfortunate to see. Nico's obviously had his moments in the past and,
he's fiery.
Right. And even in our time when he was on West Side, you more than myself, but we've both interacted with him and worked with him, and he's not that way all the time.
Correct.
Right. He's not that guy 24/7, but some part on some level of Nico is that guy. And that's just not, you can't have that. You can't, it doesn't matter what sport it is. It doesn't matter how big the sport is. You can't have one of the notable names and faces of your anything, whether it be a business, a sport, a
multiple
program,
major winner.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting in the face of a rules official trying to threaten them and not trying to, but threatening them and doing that stuff. And I saw people making arguments about, well, in soccer, you can talk to the ref, but it's different, right? Because
that's a questionable call.
Right.
That the official is calling.
And yeah, the thing, it wasn't like Nico was saying, I disagree. I don't think that was more than 30 seconds. Let me see your timer. Like he wasn't saying that. It was like he was challenging him to a fist fight. And if this were the UFC and it was like they were in the ring and they were both fighters, then like, yeah, you're here to fight each other. That's what you both signed up for. But that's not what happened. Nico signed up to play in a major, and this guy probably volunteered to be a wherever they need him guy.
This guy is he works for the PDGA Europe. I think he was like on the board over there maybe or something.
Okay.
Rules committee maybe. I'm not sure exactly what he is or who he does, but he was there acting as an official. So I mean he was he was doing his job. That's the hard part. And the only thing I'm going to take away from this, I'm not going to really give an opinion on what I think should happen or what should have happened, but it just pains me to see people post online about, we kind of discussed this about people posting online. Well, why aren't you guys calling foot faults or call people on time or this, that, or the other? Well, here's your reason.
Right.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
Right.
Nobody wants to come out of their own mindset in their own game, their game plan that they have. They have a game plan going into their round. They're not going to want to step out of that to worry about what you're doing.
Right.
We need more of this. We need more actual marshals and officials that can and will make these rules and make these calls. And
what happens to the next time that Nico's playing an A tier and he's on the card with, maybe there's some 970 rated guy that's kind of between, like he kind of wins a lot of MA1, but sometimes makes cash and open, and that guy's on his card. And he sees, okay, the last time that Nico was in a situation with time, there was an official PDGA Europe or potentially PDGA Europe board member, and Nico was in his face challenging him to a fight. Like, what's he going to do to me if I say, hey, Nico, that was 33 seconds?
Right.
Yeah. And so it's like, it sucks, man, because you said you don't want to give an opinion, and I'm not going to force you to. I'll give my opinion. I think with the way that I interpret what's in the rule book and the way that it's written, I think the PDGA has to suspend Nico for 24 months. And I know that Nico has said he's taking time off and he's going to look and try and get some of the help get the help that he thinks that he needs and the help that he wants, and thinks will get him to the place where he can be the best version of Nico that he can be.
Sure.
And that's great. I think that's awesome. I think that's the right way to go about this. I think he is at least recognizing that he made a mistake, doing what he can to fix that mistake, make sure that it doesn't happen again, kind of correct it. But I think with the situation that it happened and the way that it happened, broadcast to everybody, right? We were talking this morning about the Bradley Williams situation where everything is, well, he allegedly kicked over a basket and he supposedly said that. And I think he got a 24-month suspension for that. I think it was 2 years, where Nico, everybody saw it. And anybody that didn't see it live saw it immediately after on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. I think the PDGA is in a situation where they have to assess, or not assess, they have to imply, what's the word? That Nico has
to enforce.
Right. Yes. Nico has to be punished. Right. And it's not a direct attack at Nico. It's not me attacking Nico. It's not the PDGA attacking Nico. Obviously there are people that are doing it. You can see it in his Instagram comments, and don't be that guy. Don't be that girl.
Yeah. Don't be that person.
You're not fixing anything. You're not helping at all. But the PDGA as the governing body, if they don't, then what's
the point in that rule book?
What is the rule book? Right. Because there's a very clearly written, you get 30 seconds, and he broke that. There was a warning assessed on hole 7, I think I saw. So he was given his warning. And then there's a very clear penalty for breaking that rule. Then there's a very clear penalty for threatening violence. And I forget exactly how it's written, but there's a very clear, if you do this, this is the punishment. So I don't even think it's the PDGA going out on a limb. I think it would just be them saying, look, this is the rule book. When you sign up to play in our events, these are the rules that you agree to. Right. You broke this rule, and this is what has to happen. So I've never had nothing but good interactions with Nico. I've seen him play. I've filmed him play. He definitely breaks the 30-second rule. I hope that's one of the things that if he does get suspended and in the time that he's taking off on his own free will, I hope that's one of the things that he fixes. I hope he can fix
how slow he plays.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think that's part of it. Right. And he always says that when he's in that zone,
he doesn't know.
He doesn't feel like it's 30 seconds. It feels like 5 seconds to him.
Yeah.
And when you hear legend about when he's on the putting green, the dude just doesn't miss. And he's just standing there firing putts off. Like, be that guy on the course. Yeah. And I think getting the mental help that he needs or wants, great. And then I think also work on a faster routine, and then don't put yourself in these situations. Right. So all around, not the best.
It's not the best look for disc golf, or, I mean, especially where it happened. I think that's kind of a black eye as well, of where it happened at the European Open in front of a record-breaking crowd. Yeah. And how many people were watching online, those kind of things. It's just, it's really unfortunate.
It really is. And I hope everybody can come out of it for the better. Nico has issued, I think, a couple different apologies. So, I mean, good on him for that, recognizing that he made a mistake, doing what he thinks is going to fix him. Obviously, he knows himself. He knows what gets him to that headspace and what he can do to not get there. Yeah. And so I hope he can find that, and I hope he comes out of it better.
Yeah, stronger. I bet he will.
So we made some picks last week.
Oh, these were bad.
For the European Open. I don't remember all of them.
I remember mine.
I was just taking a look at the results here.
Yes.
Just tallying them up.
Do we want to just not talk about him? Is it that bad?
I think you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think you were like 2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about two of them.
And I was 1-2.
We had Simon versus Calvin.
Yes.
Linus versus Albert, and then Henna versus Haiti.
Oh, I was over.
Yeah. Simon.
I went goose egg.
Anthony went Calvin, Linus, Haiti, and got the first two
got
right.
two of three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Eric went Simon, Albert, Haiti.
Yep.
And then I went Simon, Linus, Haiti.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So then, let me see.
You got 2. I got 1. Emac got 0.
I got none.
And it's not like, so Simon Calvin was, for me, probably the hardest pick.
Yeah.
Between the two, because Simon had been playing so well.
He'd been playing so well, and he wanted it so bad. And that was probably a sign right there. You know, I mean, you're either going to get it or you're just going to kind of want it too bad.
You think that's a thing?
I do. 100% think it's a thing. Pressure,
Really?
adding pressure to yourself like that. I guarantee you Simon added even more pressure to himself to win this particular event because it's a major in Europe where he's from. I mean, he's not from Finland, but he was born and raised in Germany.
Right.
So European, I mean, being the first to win the official European Open as a European player.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
So then how does that balance out with, like we were talking about, Eagle took so much time off with the goal of coming back at the European Open.
Mm-hmm.
How does that kind of...
Because nobody expected him to.
But you don't think he was sitting there like, I'm going to come back at the European Open and I'm going to blow everybody's socks off. I'm going to take this thing down.
Maybe, but I don't think he had that mindset, because I remember listening to his interview, his not his interview, I guess it was more of his press conference, I think it was.
Yeah.
And, they asked him what his goals were for this event. And all he said is, I just want to be able to finish and have fun. That's a scary person to me. Not the other person that Simon, I think, said, UC talked to him in the parking lot and told them, go get me a major. And like, that's a little bit of pressure for Simon, who has performed this year.
Well, and also like, hold on a second, UC.
Yeah.
Get me a major.
Wait a minute.
I didn't see you throw a single disc, buddy.
So I think there's a little bit of that potentially, but in the same time, the Calvin Simon matchup was a coin flip. Like, I think going into that week, they were 10-10-2.
Like head to head
was their record head to head.
Yeah.
Like, that's a coin flip.
Right. You're talking about two of the elite players in our sport that are, and I bet like if they played 10 times, like
they could split 5-5.
Probably split it, or at least nobody's winning more than 6, I bet.
Yeah.
If they'd have just so
that was a tough one.
Very close, very interesting picks. We will have some potential kind of little maybe picks, maybe predictions. Maybe we'll just chit chat about some players about DGLO coming up this weekend. But before we get to DGLO, we've got to go over some news from last week. And also there were some discs that released today and they're pretty cool. So Eric, do you want to talk about the discs first? Or
yes.
Do you want to talk about the ore?
Let's talk about the ore.
The ore. Okay, so
like it's like a,
you put it out next to your boat.
Yeah. I've got one on my boat.
Wait. Does your boat not have an engine?
It does, but it's mandatory to have a paddle of some sort on there in case your engine blows and you need to get back to shore. You got to have a paddle of some sort. So I've got an oar.
It would take a long time.
You're telling me I have ran out of gas on Melbourne Lake before. Thankfully, I have a trolling motor on the front, so I was able to troll back.
Okay.
But it took a little longer than
Melbourne's not a small lake.
It's not. Thankfully, I wasn't terribly far from the dock.
Okay.
But
that would be
but yeah, we ended up doing the
so sick.
We ended up doing the trolling motor, so it was good. It was very challenging though, putting it on the boat.
Yeah.
Or putting it on the trailer. So but either way, that's not the ore you were speaking of.
The ore I was speaking of was we had some good finishes from our team.
Let's talk about these guys since I have them in my lap.
Okay, so we'll get to the ore.
We'll get to the ore later.
We'll get to the ore. Okay. The discs that did release today, first up right there, one that I'm very excited about.
This thing feels amazing.
It flies amazing.
Does it?
It flies very nice.
Oh man.
This is for the audio people. This is a Tournament X Maiden from Westside Discs. It's a team series for Matt Oram. Everybody knows him.
Matty.
Row Tide. Get yourself a Tournament Plastic Maiden. It makes throwing straight approaches the easiest thing. It makes it something that I can do, and I stink.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool.
Fantastic.
Next up, we've got the Lucid X Culprit.
Mr. Chris Clemens.
Chris Clemens.
I like this stamp a whole lot.
The stamp is awesome.
I don't know if you guys can see it on.
Equally as it's like a, what is that called? Is that a mandala?
It's a mandala, but it's like a lemon tree.
Yeah,
because it's got little lemons in it.
It's very cool.
It is cool.
The Culprit is an overstable approach disc, a little bit more overstable than a Suspect.
Would you consider it like a baby Justice?
Like a very newborn Justice.
Okay,
because the Justice is like mad.
Can you get more distance out of this or the Justice?
Ooh, I've never tried.
Okay,
but I would bet Culprit.
We should try that.
I would, distance competition. Win it with about 260. Are
we throwing downhill?
I would think, I would think Culprit.
Okay,
it's
it does feel like it would go a little longer.
I think it's just because it's not as just aggressively mad.
It doesn't hit you in the left foot on the tee.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So the Culprit, kind of a lower profile.
It feels great.
Yes. Flies great.
I think it's great. Great little forehand approach.
Yes.
Too.
Highly recommend that disc. Next up is the Royal Grand Glory. This is a Rebecca Cox team series disc.
Now this thing feels amazing. Yeah. I've never really thrown the Glory, but it kind of feels like that. I don't know, like in between a Getaway and a Felon.
Yeah,
kind of has that.
The rim feels a little bit smaller. It feels like a 7-speed or maybe like a 6-speed, a little bit on the slow. Like if you throw Explorers, Evaders, a little bit more than that. But like you said, it feels really nice. That Royal Grand plastic is excellent.
Yeah, it's kind of bursty too.
Yeah. It's not like a burst. It's just more of like a swirl effect, I guess. Yeah. Very cool.
Cool stamp too.
Next up, if you missed our Instagram live yesterday with Danny and Zach Melton, Zach has the Fusion X Burst Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
These are fairly domey, kind of straight to understable fairways.
That's what he said. I think he said that they fly a little straighter than the previous run of Fusion X.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which isn't a bad thing, really.
Those were like for a Maverick. Oh my gosh, you can hear the grip.
Mm-hmm. That was the grip.
Right. That was Eric rubbing his hand along the plastic. The Fusion X ones from last year were pretty overstable for a Maverick. And these are what I think of when I think Maverick. It's that just hyzer flip to straight, and then you can beat it into like a hyzer flip to turn. And I've got one that I can throw rollers with.
Cool.
Sometimes.
It feels good.
Yeah.
It does.
Very good. Next up is Gavin Rathbun with his first team series disc. This is the Hybrid X Felon.
These things look beefy.
Yes. We talked with Gavin about it in his interview a couple of weeks back. I think it was episode 32, if I'm not mistaken. And they are, yes, very overstable, but not unthrowable. Like you can throw it flat and it will hold flat for a little bit and then it just crashes.
Yeah.
Very big fan of this disc.
I like the stamp too. I think he did a great job designing the stamp too.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything about that disc I am a fan of. The plastic, the mold, the guy, the stamp.
The guy.
All
the
of
guy's
it.
A good dude.
All of it I like.
Support Gab.
Last but certainly not least is the one and only Rick.
Oh, what up, Rick?
With Lucid X Chameleon Raiders. The Raider is...
I've had so many people asking me, when are we going to do Lucid X Raiders?
Today.
When are we going to do them?
This morning, Eric.
So like the 28th?
The 28th.
They're available? Where?
3 hours ago.
Where at?
DynamicDiscs.com.
Sick.
You could get one.
Go pick one up.
Yeah. If you want to
These things feel great.
Really far.
They have the nice dome to them. It feels good in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't thrown one yet. I am definitely going to grab one and put one in my bag because...
You could grab that one.
I love the Raider.
Don't grab that one because it's pretty and I might want that one.
I know. It's got a cool copper stamp.
Yeah. And the chameleon effect.
I have thrown the... he had glimmer ones out, and I think those I could mash on them and they would flatten and fly relatively straight and then dump.
Yes.
These I think are just going to be dump.
Just hyzer.
And I love that about the Raider. Everybody needs one of these, but because it's just an overstable, like if you can't throw far, I feel like it's almost as a good utility disc for you, like headwinds,
right?
Forehands. You need something to just go left as a righty, like
right. And it's not like I feel like people typically would say that about something like an Enforcer, and the Enforcer is that disc for someone like Ricky, who can throw incredibly far.
Correct.
And that disc still holds up to it. But if you're the person that's throwing 300 to 380, boom, then a nice domey Raider like that will be as much overstability as you need. Whereas the Enforcer is going to be so overstable, it might almost be trimming distance for you, where the Raider is still going to go a mile.
Yeah. So if you want to support any of these fantastic players that we just mentioned, go to DynamicDiscs.com and pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 up.
There you go. Speaking of some other players, well, one of the same player, some of the other players, we had some finishes from our team that we wanted to highlight.
Shout out.
Yeah, so we had Holland Handley won the Brett Hambrick Memorial Open.
Not just that was her back-to-back A-tier wins.
And she won it by I want to say 15?
Something like that.
She was pretty far under par.
It's scary. She's getting very confident right now.
Yeah.
And that's scary for the other FPOs in my mind.
There's a lot of girls in the FPO division that I feel like are, we've talked about it time and time again, where a couple of years ago it was just Paige and Kat. And now it's like, hey, ladies.
Hey, there's more ladies out there.
There is a lot of people that can play. So another one, Matty O, we just talked about him with the Tournament X Maiden. He won the Midsummer Meltdown. Congratulations to Matt. He
didn't just win. Didn't he birdie the entire back nine to win?
Was it the entire back nine?
I thought it was.
Give me 1 minute and I can check. I know it
might have been like the last 11, but I'm pretty sure he ran the table.
Okay. I know he came from behind. Right.
Yeah.
And let's see why. Okay. Dear PDGA, make it easier for me to find players on your page, please. Yes. Because when I search for Matt Oram, I get 100 and something results.
Oh man.
And guess what? None of them are.
Or none of them are Matty-O?
Matt Oram.
Is it Matthew Oram?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes. Matthew Oram.
Cool.
All right. Recent events. Are you ready?
Are you ready for this?
Eric McCabe, the Midsummer Meltdown.
Midsummer.
We're going to go.
Meltdown.
And find. Do you want to place a bet of how many of the holes you think he birdied in a row?
It was either 10 or 11.
I do apologize. It was 9. You were correct.
Oh, just 9? Okay.
It was 9. He beat Sullivan Tipton. It was the player who finished in second. Sullivan, like a chump, birdied only 7 of the back 9, and that was where Matt ended up catching him. I'd be willing to bet that Matt threw his maiden on more than 0 of those holes.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like we said, pick those up. You'll win A tiers. Speaking of winning A tiers, I believe her first A-tier victory, Hannah Wynn of Team Westside Discs, won the Clash at the Canyons in Lockport, Illinois. Yep. A course that I am a massive fan of. An event I'm a big fan of as well. I've played in it before myself.
Good people up there.
Very good people. Very good win for Hannah. Big huge congratulations to her.
Huge win.
Yeah. Against a pretty good field. Yep. Even our very own Sarah Gilpin, I think, came in second place.
Yep.
Yeah. So congratulations to Hannah and Sarah. And last but most certainly not least, we had Carter Ahrens qualifying for the United States Disc Golf Championship. Carter is
15
up from
15.
Washington, just outside the Seattle area, I believe.
Gig Harbor, I believe, is where he's from. He is 1003, I think, or something like that, and that's just on the rise. It's only going to go up.
Unbelievable.
And I talked to him and his dad a couple days ago, and he was stoked.
Yeah.
Like that was his goal, is to go up and actually qualify for the USDGC. Like it's big time for this kid. Like
it's big time for anybody.
I was in Washington a couple weeks ago now, and I played a couple rounds with the boys, and it just blows my mind.
So you said the boys. Tyler is Carter's brother. Tyler's
older brother,
a couple years older.
Yep. I think he's 17.
Stud.
Yeah.
Both of them are monsters.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Yes. And just watching them play was phenomenal. Phenomenal. We played with Allison Mabbitt too, who's Team
She's
Westside.
on Westside. Yep. I find it when I see kids like that, it's like it's really just awe-inspiring for like a couple seconds, and then it's just infuriating.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, so as long as you've been breathing, I've been doing this thing. Like I've been throwing discs since you were born.
Longer.
And you're way better than me. Like way better than me.
Dude, he throws the disc so far.
Yeah.
Like you say that, like, oh, he throws the disc far, sure. Like,
right.
No, he throws the disc far.
Like far. Like far. Not like, hey man, I threw that pretty far.
Like I can throw a disc far and then I'll throw it again. And then he'll be there.
Yeah.
Like,
sup, dude?
Sup, dog?
Yeah. You're going to give me like a couple strokes every hole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
he did put a hurting on me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
In one of our rounds. So watch him. Carter Ahrens.
Sweet.
Watch him.
Way to go, team. Congratulations to anybody that had a good finish.
Yeah.
But just a couple that we wanted to highlight. We will get over to something where there will be good finishes.
Oh.
That is the Great Lakes Open coming up this weekend.
Good finishes.
Yes. Good finishes, Eric. There will be one great finish in each division.
And then everyone else is going to be
multiple.
Yeah.
We don't know. Somebody might have a good like
somebody might be stoked.
Somebody might pop off that you wouldn't expect, come in second place and be pretty stoked with it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the course, Eric. I've never been, but you've been there a couple of times.
I've been there a few times. It's the toboggan, and it's called the toboggan because it's on a toboggan run. So that tells you right away there is a lot of elevation at this property.
Yeah.
Fun course. It really is fun. It's fair. I know that they changed up a couple things over the last couple of years since McBeth shot that just scorcher of an 18 under couple 3 years ago or something like that, whenever that was.
Yep.
But it's not necessarily a course that you need to have a massive arm to be able to compete. It helps to have a backhand forehand type of a play. Be able to put your shots in certain areas where, you got big dog legs. There's woods, but it's not like Delaware woods. It's more like open woods style of golf.
Okay.
Same spot as where the Am Nationals used to be, or still is, I guess. But Michigan, it's fantastic. It really is a great course. It's a great venue for a big major or an Elite Series event with all the parking they have. They have availability for a lot of spectating to go on there if your spectators are in shape and can go up and down these hills. Because there is a lot of up and down. Like hole 1 and 18 play parallel to each other, but one goes way downhill and 18 goes way uphill. Yeah. So it's a battle. 18 is one that I feel like I need to see it in person, right? Because I think you have to split a gap. There's a gap right off the tee. And then the shape is like a sidearm hyzer. And it's like 370, 360, 370. Uphill, but plays like 4 something. Right. It does. And on camera, it doesn't look like it's so uphill. But then you see guys like Paul and Ricky and Eagle just mashing sidearms. And coming up short. They're like halfway in circle too. And it's like, I feel like I just need to see it to really understand. And there's OB left too. So if you try to throw a backhand and you don't get it turned. Bye. Okay. See ya. Bye. Hey, do you like fours? Hey, do you like bogeys? Work for it. Yeah. Yeah. So last year, Eagle was the one that managed to take it down. On the last hole, if I recall. He had to make a circle 2 putt to not go to a playoff, I think, with Kyle. Who was wearing his shirt. I remember that. Yeah. Kyle Klein, that is, took down second place last year. Eagle will not be there this year. So what do you think kind of expectation wise that does coming into the event? Do you think that, just Kyle's going to win it then? Guaranteed? Lock it in right now? Just, put send the boat it to Vegas. Yeah. Right now. No, man. That's a good question. You got to consider the players that came over from Europe that performed last weekend. Are they going to be jet lagged and not going to be at the top of their game? Yeah. And if they are, then how do you not put all your money on Paul McBeth? Wait, what do you mean? Because if the players are jet lagged? No, if they are not. Okay. If they're ready and on top of their game and ready to go, how do you not put just everything on McBeth for this weekend? A course that he has dominated at. Well, that could be said about, I think, at this point. Well, he's only got a couple 18 unders. Sure. Right? One of them's here. Right. And just his performance last weekend, I feel like he's got a chip on his shoulder. I think he even made a post about flying his his junior caddy over for USDGC because he's got unfinished business.
Is that kid still a junior?
I think he's still a junior.
For the newer fans, that kid, every European Open,
he gets bigger.
That kid caddies for Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has since he was 12.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know how it started, but I know it started a long time ago.
Yep. So, I remember that. I think I was there the first year. I think it was 2011 was the first year, and he was just a kid.
Yes.
Like just
the bag weighed more than he did.
Yes.
It was kind of like, hey,
Ricky's brother,
Paul, let's
caddying that one time.
Yeah. Is that rude?
Yeah.
To make that kid carry this?
So, but the kid's gotten bigger and bigger. He's coming over. So, that's another story that we can discuss later. But
season 2.
But yeah, I think you got to put your money on Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
definitely the safe bet.
Yeah, it's always the safe bet, right?
Right. Yeah, it's usually
even when he doesn't play well, he still is performing.
He's close.
Yeah.
All right, so Eric, I'm going to throw a couple of names at you. We don't have full on picks, but I'll throw some names at you, and I want to know, who do you think is going to finish better? We'll kind of do some impromptu picks.
Okay.
Take me through your thought process.
Let's do it.
We'll go with a couple of young guns off the rip. Talked about Kyle coming in second place last year, so Kyle Klein will be player A.
Okay.
Player B, rated 1 point higher than him. I think a couple years younger than him, we've got Gannon Burke.
Oh.
So between those two, Kyle and Gannon.
Ooh, that's a good one. Who do you go with? Gannon's having a great year. Mm-hmm. Kyle has had kind of an up and down year. He's starting to turn it on as of late. Mm-hmm. At Idlewild, he performed pretty well. Was it Idlewild?
Yes.
Yeah, he played pretty well out there. That's a good question. I think I'm going to go with Kyle.
Okay.
I'm going to give the edge to Kyle.
Okay. Yeah. I think I would have given it to Gannon.
Yeah.
But it's
a coin flip, right?
It's really a tough pick. Okay.
I think Kyle, just because he's going into this event after last year and really wants to come out and perform.
Especially like he's from Michigan.
Yes.
So I think that it
always helps.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be really cool for him. Next up, we have third place finisher from last year, Corey Ellis.
Ooh.
Going up against, let's see, when did he win? Earlier in the season, Disc Golf Pro Tour winner, Bradley Williams.
Ooh.
You think between Corey...
It wasn't even earlier this season. That was like...
Wasn't it just a couple weeks ago? What event was that?
That Minnesota, wasn't it?
Was it the Preserve? Yes, it was. Yeah, thank you. For some reason, I could not think of what the event was. So yeah, Preserve winner of 2022, Bradley Williams. Worst spit out winner of 2022, Corey Ellis.
Oof.
Not a title you're looking for, but unfortunately...
Where was that?
Milo? Where the disc just fell through the basket?
Oh, that's right. It went out the bottom.
Yeah. Sorry about you, Corey.
Oh my gosh.
Massive bummer.
That's not even a spit out. That's just disrespectful.
Right. Yeah. Worst result putt of the season winner, Corey Ellis.
Well, if that's the case, I kind of have to go with Bradley Williams, because if I had happened to me, that'd be on my mind every time I threw a putt. So I got to go with Bradley.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move over to the FPO division. You were talking about how it's a longer course and maybe distance won't get you everything, but distance does come into play. So we'll go with a relatively long thrower.
Okay.
And then maybe someone that's not quite known nearly as much for their distance as our distance thrower. We've got Ella Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
She can throw
very far.
Very, very far. And then maybe not as well known for her distance. We've got Maria Oliva.
Ooh. She does throw far, though.
She throws far, right. But I think if it was a distance competition, I think
they've both had...
I might be wrong, too. She might shut me up.
I think I would give the nod to Ella as far as distance goes.
Yes.
I've seen her throw, and she just...
Smash.
Ella's had a heck of a season, and she's been this close to that breakout win numerous times.
Yep.
And Maria has performed well. She played really well in... Was it U.S. Women's, I think it was, that she was leading?
She did well there. She did well at Texas State's earlier in the year, I remember.
Yep.
She's had a couple good showings.
I'm going to give it to Ella.
Yeah.
Ella. I think she's right there. She's just so close to breaking through. And when she does break through, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Right. She's not going to break through and disappear.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way I would go with that one as well. While we were talking about the event this morning, though, there was one, a highlight that you had mentioned and one that was in my mind as well that we unfortunately won't be able to see this year because Eagle is not there, but you were talking about...
Well, even if he was there, you wouldn't see it.
Right, he wouldn't be throwing sidearms. But talk to me about the clip that the Pro Tour has shared of one of the best shots that you've seen.
This, in my opinion, if James Conrad didn't throw that shot in, this would have been the shot of the year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know what round this was or anything like that. I just know this is hole 17. And when I'm watching this live, look at this. When I watched this shot live, I remember sitting on my couch watching this shot.
Yeah.
Knowing I've played this hole, thinking, okay, he's going to lose a stroke here because he's just going to throw a forehand up there somewhere and maybe have a putt. No. Right. Stand still, straddling a freaking whatever. And pins it.
Yeah.
This is the most ridiculous shot ever. Look at this.
Do you know how far that is? It's got to be like close to
900 feet. Like, that is so far. So far. Oh my, I would pray that I could ever throw a shot like that. Stand still forehand like that.
Yeah.
Like if I tried that, I'd be looking for 5 minutes in those bushes for my disc.
Right. I can throw that shot shape of like kind of force it over a little bit, let it come
like
back.
200 feet.
Yes. with that precision at that distance, there's
Look at this.
No way.
Ah, it's insane. Freaking amazing.
And then as like a 25 footer. Yeah. Unbelievable shot from Eagle. Shout out to the Pro Tour for that clip. I think we got that from their Facebook page.
Yeah. Oh man, that was sick.
You can go check that out there if you're not aware of what we're talking about. You need to watch it because it's
on their Instagram too. If you're on Instagram, just go to the DGPT and check it out.
Yeah. So for the Great Lakes Open this weekend, we've got the chance to do one final season 1 of Understable Minds Grip 6 picks.
I like this.
So we've got. Like usual, we've got one more shot at the belt.
One more.
So far, we've come up defeated. We're trying to defeat the world. Do we want to start with MPO picks or
let's change
FPO
it up?
Picks? Start with FPO?
We always start with MPO.
All right, let's start with FPO.
Let's start with the FPOs.
What's a name that immediately comes to mind? Knowing this course, what's a name that comes to mind with a strong skill set that you think will definitely have a good showing this weekend?
I mean...
We've got Paige, Kat, Val, Haley, Owen, Missy, Sarah, Natalie, Alexis, Kat, and Ella are the top, 10 or 12 names so far?
I think one of those first 3 are the ones that you got to go with there.
Is there any of those first 3 that you don't think we should go with?
No.
Just all 3? Paige, Kat, Val?
I think we need to go with 2 and then somebody further down that line that's going to have a breakout event.
Okay.
I think that's how you win the belt. I think we've determined this.
Yes. Should we pick our breakout player first or should we pick our safe picks and then decide on the breakout?
Let's go safe.
Okay. So I think safe Paige is probably the safest.
The safest
FPO.
is Paige.
So we've got Paige and then Kat, Val, and I think Haley would be in if it were just me. I think
Haley too. Let's go with Haley. So Haley's coming off a major win.
Haley. Okay. So then we'll jump over to the MPO side.
Okay.
We've got Rick, Paul, Chris Dickerson's coming back.
You got to have Paul.
Got to have Paul.
In my opinion, got to have Paul.
Okay.
I mean, you almost got to have Dickerson too, who's playing his first DGLO as a Discraft player, and it's one of their biggest events.
Correct.
So I think C-Dick's got to be up there.
So Paul, Chris,
Paige,
Haley. Do we want a wild card in both divisions, or do we want a wild card in one division, play it safe in the other? I say we go wild card MPO because I think we did wild card FPO last week, didn't we?
I think we did.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So let's jump back to FPO. We've got Katrina, Valerie, Owen, Missy, Sarah, Natalie, Alexis, Kat, Ella. Probably the names that we're going to want to take our pick. Macy's also in there. Jessica Weiss, Maria that we just talked about. Holland is down there, coming off an A-tier win.
So many. It's not getting any easier to win a belt.
Really not.
It's really not.
If we could get a lot of players to drop out, that'd be great for us.
Man. Let's go.
I think it's between Kat and Val.
It is between Kat and Val for me as well. Danny, you pick it. We'll let Danny pick between those two. Val.
Immediately clicks on Val.
Immediately
I like
clicks on
that.
Val.
I like that. If we win a belt this week, Danny gets first dibs.
Okay, he gets to wear it first.
That's fair. Yep. So MPO, this is really unfortunate because it means we can't take Rick. He doesn't quite qualify as a dark horse.
He doesn't, but we're not picking Rick, so therefore he'll probably win.
Right.
Which is, I mean,
it works out in the end for us.
Yes.
If it's anything like our belts in the past,
yes,
we will pick we apologize in advance to Paige, Haley, Paul, Chris, Val, and the next player to be determined. I say we set the line at, let's go AB. Isaac Robinson had a breakout win this year, but it was relatively unexpected. So I say anybody above AB we can't take. Starting with Isaac Robinson.
Oh, wow.
We've got Isaac, Mason, Bradley, Corey, Chris Clemens, Gavin, Cole Radalin, Ezra, Scott Withers. Aaron Gossage has been having a good year. Thomas Gilbert, Understable Minds' most hated on player. Not hated player, hated on player. I don't have anything against him, but every time Chris Clemens comes on the show,
Andrew Presnell,
he's got to take a million shots at Presnell. Andrew Marweed, Emerson, Albert
Tom.
Any of these names jumping off at you?
All those names are good players.
We can't take all of them. We have to just take one.
How about?
I've got a name.
Let's hear your name.
Do you want to say yours first? Because you're kind of thinking. I don't want to sway your judgment. I'll give you a minute to think. We did talk about Bradley and Corey earlier.
We did talk about Bradley and Corey.
Mason's been having a pretty good year. Cole is a young kid. Ezra's jacked.
Ezra is jacked. I like any of those names that you just said. I could get on top of any of those. Maybe Cole.
Okay. Do you want to know the name that I was thinking?
Yes.
Mine also starts with a C.
Oh.
I was thinking Clemens.
Yeah.
I was thinking Chris Clemens.
He's been playing great.
All right, so it's back onto Danny. Between Cole Radalin and Chris Clemens, you have to
Or
pick
if you have a third.
Or if you have a third, let us know that one as well.
As he picks Ricky.
And
I was thinking Mason, but now that you said Chris Clemens, I think I got to go with that one.
Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So the tiebreaker here, we're going with Chris Clemens. So our picks,
Clemens. We've
got Paige, Haley, Paul, Chris, Valerie, and Chris.
Ooh, two Chris's. Ooh,
two Chris's.
That's ever been done before.
Is there a third Chris? Can we just load up on Chris's? Is there any FPO players that all have the same first name as well?
Cat.
There's two cats.
There's two cats.
Cat Merch, Cat Allen.
There's two pages. Only one of them is playing this weekend.
That makes it difficult to.
Okay.
Yeah. So for under par as the
million
time, I think that's a great way to guarantee that we don't win a belt, Eric.
What won last year?
Let me look it up, but I believe Eagle was 28, and
is this 3 rounds?
It is 3 rounds: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Eagle was 28, and
that's it.
28? What do you mean? That's it.
I mean, Paul shot 18 the year before
in just one round.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's see. Yeah, Eagle was 28 under par, and Kristen took it down last year at 20. Paige was 19, so 20 under.
So they must be playing a much shorter layout.
Probably. Let's see. The FPO hole or the FPO distance last year was 87.55 in terms of total distance, and the MPO layout was 10,159. So it was
significantly
about 1,600 feet longer for the MPOs. But yeah, Eagle was 28, Kristen was 20. So it was a total of 48. They did make a couple of changes this year. The course isn't exactly the same.
Well, that's pretty close to that year, I think, to last year.
Right. It's very similar.
There's grass on that one hole.
Yep.
So that's going to be at least
like a tenth of
a stroke harder, right? Because you don't get the skip,
right?
You would have with the dirt.
But then also you're not going to skip long.
Oh,
so it's 48.
Hit that gap to skip long.
48 last year. Do we want to go similar number?
I think so. I'm good with 48.
Just copy it again.
Yeah,
48 again.
I like that.
48 under par is our prediction.
That's going to be so good.
Gosh, can you imagine if we finally just close out season 1 with a belt? That's all. It's all I want. That's it. Imagine we'll come back for season 2, just grip 6 belt across the forehead.
Yes.
If we win it, I'll do it.
Or across the shoulder.
Yeah,
just across your shoulder.
That'd be a little bit more belt appropriate, I think. Usually people don't wear belts across their foreheads, but you know what? Usually we don't win.
Trend starters.
We don't usually win belts. So when we do, we're trying to break all of them.
We're trying to do something new.
I just checked last week. I was curious what position we got.
Was it close?
We got tied for 2,961st.
All right. Out of like
good
50,000, I bet.
That's pretty solid.
Does it tell you the total number of people?
I would assume 2,961.
So we beat one person?
Whatever place we just tied for dead last.
Oh, man.
We got 84 points, and the winner got 22.
Who were the winners' picks? They just took the podium?
Paige, Macbeth, Evelina Salonen, Hannah Blomroos, and Katrina Allen.
Well, sure, if you just want to pick the best players in the field.
Yeah, dude. What are we talking about here? What's the point? Yeah, we did kind of get burned by Simon last week.
Simon did burn us. And Ricky. And
Rick kind of burned us a little bit.
Yeah.
Dang it. Well, that's why we didn't pick any of those three this week.
That's right.
One, Haiti wasn't playing.
That's true.
But
she's playing this weekend.
She's playing this weekend, but just not eligible for the Grip 6 Pick 6 belt, where we hopefully can come in.
It was fantastic.
5 less than 6th.
I mean, triple digits would be a win.
It's true. Anything without a comma is a massive dub.
That's
for us.
A dub. That's a dub. That's we'll go buy our own belt.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm not against the idea because that seems like the only way we're going to get one.
I think you're right.
Anytime soon.
I think you're right.
Speaking of anytime soon, we will be back sometime. Maybe not necessarily sometime soon. We do have to, at a minimum, get through the World Championships, which is the end of next month. If you are interested, there are tickets available to come out and spectate live in person.
Highly recommend it.
Yes. If you've never seen top level disc golf in action, I remember the first time I did was 2012 Worlds. And up until then, I was like, I throw farther than my friends. If I go and just play a casual round, I probably beat like that other guy I see out on the course. Yeah, I'm
probably do that.
Probably doing all right. At the time, I was probably like an 840 rated player. Just,
solid.
Thinking I'm all right. And I remember it was at Lemon Lake. There's a video of this. If you just search for the final 9, there was a shot. I don't remember what hole. It was a safari layout. Paul Macbeth threw a turnover that went probably like 500-600 feet. Mm-hmm. The tee was a little bit elevated, and he threw it over the gallery. And when the disc went above my head, I'm not kidding, it was 100 feet in the air, and I could still hear it going. Whoosh.
Yeah.
It was in that moment. I was like, I'm never going to do that. I will never know what that feels like. I could watch that, but I'll never know what it feels like to do what he just did. So, yeah.
Lemon Lake, great place.
Yeah. Congratulations, 12 years later, Eric.
Yeah, fantastic spot.
Yeah, so if you're interested or have not watched Top Level Disc Golf, I cannot recommend it enough. You can find tickets for that via the website, and highly recommend that.
And it's going to be not just the event, but we're doing a lot of other stuff that week too, like the block party that we're going to have. Like you could actually like hang out and talk to these players too at the block party. You can come and buy a disc from them. And it's huge. It's a big deal.
Yes, I feel like we're nearing kind of the end of disc golf being as accessible as it is. Right,
I agree.
If you go to an MLB game, you don't get to just walk up and talk to Mike Trout or whoever your favorite baseball player is.
Ooh, that's a rough one right now. He just tore vertebrae in his back, and he's out for the rest of his life.
It's tough to tear a vertebrae anywhere else, but
that's true. You're not wrong.
You go to an NFL game, you can't just walk up to your favorite player, buy a pair of cleats from them and whatever. But with disc golf, we're still in a point where you can do that.
Maybe not for much longer.
One of the ways to do that is the World Championships this year. It won't be a full DynamicDiscs Open experience because it is just professional side. But highly recommend coming out for that. Highly recommend staying tuned for season 2 of Understable Minds when that does come back. For you, Eric, for Danny, for myself, for AJ Risley, we want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching, listening, conversating in the Facebook group, all that stuff. We do all very much appreciate it. We do all thank you for doing that. And we cannot wait for season 2. We look forward to it probably more than you guys do at home. I promise you that much. So we will be back better than ever, refreshed, new, ready to go with 2 new world champions crowned. Could potentially be a new calendar year. Ooh. We'll see. When that happens, we will be here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.